you were talking about how you used to beat yourself up for like what, not being on schedule, because that's what we were talking about a little bit. Or
so I used to beat myself up for not doing what I thought I should be doing at the moment. You know, it's almost like this. You know, when you drive around, right? You drive and you get all the red lights. Every time you drive, red light, red light, red light. And then then at some point you tell yourself, you know what? Let me go to 7-Eleven real quick. I'm gonna stop, grab a bottle of water and whatever. So you stop at 7-Eleven, get your water, and now the moment you start driving again, you get nothing but green lights. And sometimes I feel like in life it's like that. Sometimes you need to take that stop, you need to take that pause to handle whatever you have to handle, so that when you back on your road, you sharper, you have more tools, you have everything you need in order to be successful.
yeah, it was like a delay, but a necessary delay.
A necessary one.
Yeah. Wow, that's a really good perspective.
Yeah. Okay, so we are back, Muscle Mommies. Today is a very special episode because we do have Kevin. Kevin is over here. And the way that we met was through the gym. And when we spoke, I was like, oh my God, like his aura is just so positive and optimistic. Thank you. He has so much wisdom. And I was like, we need to have him on this podcast. We need to have him on this podcast because you guys love that. And our episode with Emily was amazing. So let's spill some wisdom. Let's
go.
And so the first thing that I noticed about you was how optimistic you are. So has this always been you, or did something happen that you adapted this mindset?
Okay, so there was this one time I went to Atlanta, and it was my first time going out of California since I arrived here, actually.
When did you come here?
So I came here in October 2003.
Okay.
From where?
From France.
Oh, nice.
Straight from there.
How old were you when you came to California?
So when I came to California, I was about 17, about to be 18. Okay. So that was in 2009. So we go to Atlanta, and mind you, at that time, I was seeing this girl, and just broke up. So I was very pissed off, right? As you can imagine. But I was offered my very first opportunity to be in the movie, right? So I was flown to Atlanta for that. So I was there. Then my mother came from France to visit me. Now we were hanging out and we were running around, running all kinds of errands. And every time she was saying something, I was giving her a negative response to it. Oh my God, this thing is beautiful over there. Well, that's probably because XYZ. Oh, do you think they'll help us doing that? No, man, these guys are always like this. Every time I had a negative response. So one time, right before my birthday, my mom tells me, you know what? The negative thinking of yours, I don't need it. I didn't fly all the way from France to hear you be negative all the time.
Wow.
And I had to sit back. I had to look at myself in the mirror, and you know what, Kev? Yeah, you are a little too negative right now. Maybe you need to chill that down a little bit. And I kid you not, miss, it was my last time being negative. It was my last time. After that, I trained myself to always see the good in everything, even a bad situation. Now that right there is training, you know, because we're not used to like seeing the good in a bad situation. I mean, your car just broke down. What's the good in this, right? But then once you change your mindset, you can actually see the good in that. Why? Because maybe that was the opportunity for you to get the car you always wanted. You just didn't want to do all the paperwork, all of that. But now you have to actually do what you have to do to get what you really wanted, you know?
Yeah.
Agreed.
So you say training, right? And obviously training is something that's, well, physically training is something that's really big in all of our lives. And for me and Nona as well, like we always talk about mindset shifts, like adaptations that we would consider training as well. Like we were talking about it in our last podcast, like it takes time, but it's just like going to the gym, right? So what would you say is like the hardest part about a mindset training, like in comparison to physical training, right? Because a lot of people who listen to us are into the gym and are maybe trying to begin their mindset change journey, you know? So where do you begin, and what's the difference between the two? Like, would you say one is harder than the other, given that you're into both of them, right? So what do you think is different?
I believe the hardest training is obviously the mental one, because if your mental is not there, your physical will fall apart, right? So, which is why a great way to actually train is hiking.
Okay.
Right? Now, what is the best thing about hiking?
The view.
Right? Now, what is the best thing about seeing the view?
It's like a reward, maybe?
Yeah.
Exactly. You are breathing. When you are breathing, you are in the moment. And being in the moment is what makes a hike so rewarding.
That's true. It's nothing but the hike in that moment.
It's nothing but the hike. You may be going through the worst things in life, but once you're done with that hike, you will feel good for a moment. Why? Because you're here. You're in the now. Now, being in the past causes depression. Being too much in the future, anxiety. So you have to learning to be in the moment. That is the hardest but the most rewarding training there is. Now, it's training, which is why I call it a skill. Being in the moment is a skill.
Absolutely.
All right? You may do well on Monday. It doesn't mean you'll do well on Tuesday. But as long as you keep trying, next thing you know, you'll do it on Wednesday. Right? And then Thursday. You may fall on Friday, but it's okay. Saturday and Sunday, you still have those days to do that.
True. I agree. And my train of thought just left.
It's okay, because I have a billion questions for you. Okay, mindfulness and being present are like one and the same, right? Like I would like to think. Do you practice? We love this stuff, so it's cool that you're on here. Do you practice meditation?
You know what? I practice a different kind of meditation.
Let's hear it.
So my meditation is, I grew up playing video games. My biggest influence in my life was Street Fighter. All right. So growing up, I always wanted to be like one of these guys. All right.
Yeah.
So my meditation is sometimes I would play like a video game, or I would listen sometimes to tracks from like movies and whatnot, and I will keep thinking about the person that I do want to be. What kind of person you want to be?
Yeah.
And I ask myself these questions. Okay, so you want to be that person. That's good. Now, where are you right now? You right there. Okay. What are the steps that it takes for you to get to that? All right. And then as you're listening to music, you be in a good mood, you start planning, your steps. Now, that's how I meditate. I picture myself as the guy I always wanted to be, and I'm striving to be. Now, I've tried the whole sitting down for like 10 minutes and like not think about anything. The longest I've done was 3 minutes. All right. But I believe that, like I said, finding that medium, everyone doesn't meditate the same way, because we are all so different. We all have different backgrounds and whatnot. So it might be easy for one to stay quiet, while it might be easier for one to meditate to music.
Well, you sound meditations for sure. Yeah. 100%. You've been you've been taking.
Oh yeah, it's the best thing ever. The vibrations that you feel is insane. It like puts you in a different like headspace.
Yeah.
It's like a sound high in some sense. Yeah. But so you're really big on visualization, right?
Yeah.
Like visual, because I remember like I read and I've heard a lot about how people like, if you want to become the person that you want to become, you have to like envision yourself as that person. Like what do they do? How do they dress? How do they think? So you're really big into like that type of that's good.
I would say that the first step of training is visualization. Before you are able to do a move, you have to see yourself do the move.
Right.
Right? You have to picture yourself doing that move. So before I got into professional wrestling, I was always watching it on TV.
And just imagining yourself.
I was imagining myself being one of those guys. Right? So the moment I got into the ring and started doing it,
you've done it before, like in your mind.
Exactly. It's like I've done it.
Yeah.
And people are like, wow, like, you talented, man. I'm like, oh, thanks. I just watched a lot. But not only I watched a lot, I saw myself do that first. Martial arts, same thing. Even in training, in anything, like even the person that's deadlifting 575 has seen himself deadlift 575 before getting to do it.
True. Yeah. I think visualization, for me at least, has sort of done what you're saying. Like when I really, really want something and I know that it's a deep desire of mine, and I, for lack of better words, I obsess with the thought of it, like in my mind, which I think like it's like a healthy obsession. I hate to say that word because there's a negative connotation, but I would see myself do those things, and then there was a comfort when I went into those moments, right?
Yeah.
So I have a question for you though, because I've experienced this myself. I obviously you don't have the answers to everything, but I'm curious about your experience, because sometimes I will visualize myself doing something that I want to accomplish per se, and then I get to the moment where I feel like I'm being put in that position, but there is so much hesitation from my end. It's like, well, I've seen myself do it, I was excited for it, I was prepared, and then I get there and it's almost like imposter syndrome. You know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like I get there and there's a moment of, am I really here? And there's like fear, and it doesn't play out the way that I thought it would in my mind with my visualizations. Have you ever experienced something like that?
Oh, every time I perform.
What perform? Explain. Where do you perform?
So every time I go on set, I'm about to do a stunt, or like before I would do a match, I will always have that anxiety. Like I'm just like, this is what I always wanted. Like, am I a joke? Like what am I really doing here?
Am I?
You know what? Like, okay, you know what, Kev? If you play your cards right, you can walk out that door. No one is looking that way. You can get out.
Just book it.
Just book it, man.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like they will understand. But then you're like, no, man, no. Let's do this. Like I learned to embrace the fear. You know, like fear always has a negative connotation, right?
It does.
It does, and that's understandable. But now, I believe that with the right mindset, fear can be a great tool for preparation.
Right.
Right? For example, you know, you're about to do something you always wanted to do, right? But you're afraid of like failing. So you're going to give yourself all these reasons why you could not be accepted, right? Well, all these reasons that you're giving yourself are actually a list of things you should train for.
Oh my goodness.
And that's how you end up being prepared, because the person who's prepared is not afraid.
Yeah, so a little bit of fear shows like where you need to have more preparation, if anything.
Because fear is good. Fear only means you want it. Fear means you need it. So because you need it and you want it, now you're going to give yourself the reasons why you can't. Well, take care of those reasons one by one. And when it's time to perform, to do what you need to do, you're not going to be afraid. You're going to be excited.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I've never thought about fear like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about like how people are like, fear is just excitement, but in a different like way or form. But the way that you put fear in, like that's just, you know?
Yeah.
I've never thought about it like that.
And it's a rewire. Like I do think of fear negatively. Like sometimes I get hard on myself for being fearful. Like especially like when I've prepared and I visualize and I get there, I'm like, what am I doing? Like why am I scared right now when I wanted this, you know? When I wanted to be in this position, like what am I afraid of? But that mindset change is crazy to me, because the one thing that I thought of as super negative is like now, if anything, like every time I experience fear, I don't have to hate it. I'm just like, okay, I just have to change these things about myself.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
And I like to work on myself. We like to work on ourselves. So if anything, it's like getting that additional, like, this is something you need to prepare for is a positive.
Yeah. And plus, you get to know who you are a lot more. You know? I think that's the most rewarding thing out of all this, getting to know who you are. How does Miss Arev work under pressure?
Right.
Boom. How does Miss Nona prepare for something big? Boom. You got it.
Yeah.
True.
Do you spend a lot of time getting to know yourself? Is there any practices you do, like besides, I can tell you're just a mindset, like in your mind, like you live in your mind. That's what I'm picking up from you. Like it might not be actual acts. Like there's people, I journal, like I'll write a lot. I don't know if you do, but I get the vibe that your journal's in your mind. Like like if you're thinking about things and you're conversing with yourself, it's all in your mind. So I was gonna ask if you do things like, what are your acts of getting to know yourself? Is it just, do you just spend a lot of time alone?
You know what I do? I do. And I believe that, not even I believe, it's something that I do a lot, is I ask myself the right questions.
In your mind.
In my mind.
Yeah, I can tell.
But you know what? Sometimes it's like...
It's better that way.
It's better that way.
It is.
And sometimes it's not even like when I'm by myself, I will be asking myself the right questions, like out loud.
Me too.
So okay, Kev, like what really, like what
happened?
What did you do? Like why? Like what did you do that? Did you expect to get anything from that? No, not really. Okay, so why did you do that? And then you really go, okay, so you know what? The reason why I did this is because bam, 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 right?
You confess.
You confess to yourself, right? And that's the thing. Like I believe that we all owe each other to be honest with ourselves, because that's the best way we can get to know ourselves. I see a lot of people that live in a lie that they built for themselves, and then when the lie crumbles, you know, they're just naked in front of the truth, right? So that's like my biggest practice, is I have those little conversations with myself. But like I'm talking about brutally honest with myself. And if sometimes some of the stuff that I tell myself is not really like, whoa, really, Kev, but okay, at least you know that, you know what, your mind went there. You go there sometimes. Okay. And by doing that, it taught me to understand people a lot more. I get to see that not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people have those conversations with themselves. And a lot of time it could be because they haven't been taught, right? Or because they are afraid to hear the stuff that everyone has been saying their whole lives.
Right. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's really uncomfortable, I think.
It is. And we all need it. Beyond the uncomfortable lies greatness. You gotta be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You do, and that's like for me, I hate being uncomfortable. I mean, it's weird because I do these like I think everyone does, I guess. So like I don't even have to be hard on myself for that. Who enjoys like this, like not being comfortable? But I was gonna say, like you said, you're either like these people haven't been taught these things, or they're just uncomfortable. Did somebody teach you this, or was just like something that you, I don't know, maybe you, like for me, I feel like no one taught me this, but I spent so much time alone that it's just like conversations developed. And then I was like, wait, a lot of beauty comes from this. So that's how I got into it. Like I was just alone, and then my mind started working with itself. Yeah. And you picked it apart, and I was like, okay, like this was a useful, tool. So how did you get there? Anyone teach you, your family maybe?
So ever since I was a kid, I've been like talking to myself like that. But there was this one time I was in a very negative place. And I called my uncle in France, who's a pastor. And he asked me, okay, so this is how you feel. All right. Well, before you give up on everything, I need you to ask yourself the right questions. Ask yourself. He just said that. I always ask yourself the right questions. Is it worth giving up? You already been so far. Like, are you willing to do that again? Ask yourself the right questions. And then once you have done that, then you're free to make your decision. So ever since then, I started, like that became my thing. Ask yourself the right questions. And yeah. So it's something that I've always been doing, but my uncle actually verbalized it. He put a hashtag on it.
Hashtag ask yourself the right question. Yeah.
And you'll be surprised. Actually, since you guys do the work, you see how many people don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. I always get like comments. It's like, how do you have so much time to do that in the morning? But it's like literally I wake up, go to the gym, have breakfast. Like that, I feel like at the end of the day, it's like what you prioritize in life.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. And I think when we prioritize different things, right? Like, and I guess it's just choice, but you're right. Like I totally do see who has put in the time to like unravel themselves and deal with their, because I honestly, like, well, my perspective of it is, right, like, I know that I owe it to myself to understand who I really am while I'm alive, right, but I also owe it to other people, because if I don't know myself, I will mistreat people who come into my life, family. And you know how you said your mom's story opened up your eyes? Similar to me, it's like sometimes I what started my reflection is one time, like, I would have conversations with my parents, and like, I never really raised my voice at my parents or anything, right? And I remember this one time that I did, and out of frustration, like, I don't know what had happened. I was really young too. And my mom was just like, wait, why would you, like, speak to me like that? And in that moment, I was like, I need to learn how to understand myself and control myself so she doesn't experience the bad end of things, which comes with relationships with everybody, right? Like, the more you get yourself, the more you know what triggers you, so you can step away from a situation before you hurt someone, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and you interact with people sometimes, and you can just see that none of that has been dealt with. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But you know what's the crazy part about that is that when you yell like that to your mom actually get to know you better.
Yeah.
She got to understand how you really felt.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
See, saying it out loud still brings pain to me. Like,
oh.
I didn't like that fact that I did that, but it was good for me. It was good for me. I needed to see that I don't like to hurt people who are close to me or who mean everything to me, you know?
Exactly. And plus, the thing is, like, once you learn yourself, it is easier to communicate with others.
Absolutely.
It becomes easier because now, by understanding yourself, you can understand that, okay, that person didn't do the work. So you know what? Let me talk in a way
to help them.
Yeah. Sometimes I will be the one asking them the right questions.
Wait, hold on. I feel this, but let me ask you something.
Please.
Like, I'm gonna be on. I've reached a point where I feel everyone I run into is on that page, and I'm tired of asking the right question. You ever feel like that? For me, after doing all of the work myself, right, and helping tons of people who come into my life who sometimes mistreat me, and I try to understand why they did it, you know, I get to the point where I'm like, I don't think that I don't want to put the work in anymore for other people and myself at the same time. Like, you ever reach a point where you feel burnt out from the way that people are communicating with you and the way that you have to break it down for them and help them?
You know what?
You get what I'm saying? Like, hurtful moments, like, they just constant, like, mistreatment where you're just like, I don't want to deal with, like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, you're tired of fixing them.
Yes, okay. yes.
Oh, of course, of course. When it comes to that, I've been in those moments, and how do I say that? What I did when that happened is I had to separate myself for a little bit, really go back to HQ and really analyze all the files that you just gathered, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so this person did this, he does that because of that. Okay, all right. So now I isolate myself for a little bit, but then come back and understand things a little better.
Right, just a pause.
A pause is needed because at the end of the day, really, like, helping people is
rewarding.
It's rewarding, right? But it can also be tiring because you keep stretching your hand, and sometimes people don't just grab it; they just pull it.
Yeah.
Right, and then that's when it hurts. So you have to, like, pull back, let it heal a little bit, put some ice on it, and then go back again. Yeah, do it again.
So basically, you have to learn your limits with helping people.
You do.
So you can't give them all.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you will start seeing after a moment, once you start knowing, when you start knowing a lot more, a lot of things will stop affecting you. A lot of things.
Yeah.
A lot of things. And that's when, like, that's the biggest reward right there. Is not being affected.
When you're unbothered.
You're unbothered.
I definitely feel like, me personally, I still have some things that will, like, obviously bother me, just like I'm human. But I do see that progression of things that I sometimes will have interactions with people, and I can tell that old me would be so affected by what I do. But not even unbothered, understanding. You ever feel like that?
Of course.
Someone treats me or says something to my friends, like, and I witness it, but I understand. You know, like, there's empathy, and I can sort of see where they're coming from. Yeah. You know?
Also, but
not excusing it.
Yeah.
But understanding it.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, there's a big difference between the two. And that's also when you set boundaries.
Right.
So there was one person I was trying to help because I understood the pain that she was in. But then she started stepping over the boundaries. That's when I had to stop. I'm like, look, nah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
You know, and then by understanding the boundaries that I put, they started to see how they were messing up. She started to see how, like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm doing a little too much. But she never, like, because, you know, people before that, people would just like shut down, right? Like right before, like they would shut down in like stage 2. Mm-hmm. I shut down at stage 5.
And told her why.
So that's another thing. Honesty. Mm-hmm. You know, honesty to me is the best line of communication. Because if you don't tell me, I can help you. And if I just shut down and just don't tell you anything, then you will never understand.
Right.
And if you don't understand, then how can you learn?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. So that's why even while keeping the boundaries, I stayed honest. I'm like, this is what you're doing, and I don't like that. So therefore, this is what I'm going to do, hoping that you'll learn from it.
Right.
So mature. I love it.
Yeah, but very few people are like that, 100%.
Oh, yeah, very few.
few.
Oh, trust me, miss, I wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was not like that.
Yeah.
Like, it took a lot of work for me to get to that. Mm-hmm. A lot of work.
And now you touch and affect people's lives as you go through them. Like that woman's life. She learned something very valuable. I don't know what that, like, where you guys, like, if you guys recovered from that situation or not. But she, especially with the realization that you said, like, a door opened for her. You know what I'm saying? Which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, at the end of the day, you know, like, when I was 24, I gave myself that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's continue. When you were 24.
When I was 24, I gave myself that one motto. Be the person you wish you met.
Yeah, I've read this, and that has stayed with me for such a long time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. There's a lot of people that, you know, don't you wish, like, when you started working out, somebody just came and gave you all the secret sauce?
Yeah.
Like, look, man, if you do it like this, it's going to do that. If you do it like this, trust me, that's going to work. Really? Yeah, man, do this, that, and you'll be all right. Right?
Yeah.
I wish I had that when I started. Like, I had to beg people. I had to, like...
Well, I don't know, like, if you did that, but online searching was big for me. Like, YouTube, like, Google, all day.
All day. It will really take you all day because there's so many people contradicting each other.
Yes. So you're like, what's the truth?
So
like,
what's the truth? Intermittent fasting is not right. Intermittent fasting is the great thing you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, your keto, man, is the truth. Well, paleo is where you should be.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What? So I wish I had one person that could tell me, like, you know, Kev, try doing it like this, and come see me the next week. So now every time I see a kid at the gym just like needing help or like doing something, I would just stop him and like, hey, my man, so when you do this, pull your elbows a little more forward, right here, so that way you're keeping all the tension on the bicep. Stretch it and contract it. Oh, thanks, man. You got it anytime.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, be the guy you wish you met, you know, and it's not just in the gym, it's in everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, like what I've seen is that a lot of people need to talk. People don't talk enough.
To each other? What do you mean?
Yeah, not to each other. People just rant. You know, people wanna be heard.
They want an outlet.
But exactly, but are not willing to listen.
They're not conversing.
No.
They're just speaking, which you can do that's those moments with yourself. That's when you look in a mirror and rant.
You rant.
Vent.
Yeah.
And then, sure, you can have people in your life that you do that too, but when you open your mouth to someone, it becomes a conversation. And people don't usually do that. You're right.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't. And when a lot of times whenever I was having trouble, what I was doing, and like I would call my cousin, and every time I would come to him with a problem, I would always come to him with the hope that he tells me that what I'm thinking is wrong.
Wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why? Because I don't want to be stuck in my own mindset, my own mentality with what I know. Give me another angle.
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
You want a different opinion.
I want a different opinion.
Yeah. You want to like broaden the way that you're thinking every time you go to him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even sometimes like when my wife and I would get into it, and I would sit down, I'm like, okay, put yourself in your wife's shoes. look at this the way it is. Like, how would you like that? Really? Oh, I wouldn't like it. There you go. So I had to teach myself to give myself another opinion, you know. But a lot of people can do that. Sometimes you talk to a friend and you ask him for an honest opinion. He would just give you what you need, what you want to hear. They would just give you like, oh yeah, oh you okay, you fine, you da da da.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's why to me, like, I am not big, and that's a big one. I'm not big on affirmations.
Wait, this is a big one.
Yeah.
Wait, you are not? Yeah, I would think so as well.
Yeah.
But
why?
Elaborate. Yeah.
So the reason why I'm not big in affirmations is because a lot of times we want everything big. We want all the gold in the world, right? But do you deserve the gold in the world?
Damn.
Do you do the work? I deserve everything. I deserve this. Do you though? Do you put in the work?
Yeah.
Do you remember that morning you could have gone and done something about it? You decided to just chill at home. Do you deserve that gold?
Damn. So it's like affirmations only if you're putting the work in.
Only if you put in the work in.
Right.
And
but that's a true statement, by the way, because they don't just work. Let's say, like, just rewiring your mind to believe you deserve those things will not get you those things.
No.
Unless everything else is in place. Like, if you are showing up every day and you say, I am strong, you will become strong.
Exactly.
You know?
Because at the end of the day, once you put in the work, you don't need affirmation. Your work is the affirmation.
Damn.
I used to say, what is hard work? Can you tell me what hard work is?
What is hard work?
Yeah.
Okay, so it depends what definition of hard work. Like, are you saying like difficult tasks or like a hardworking person?
You know what? Actually, let me ask it better.
Okay.
What is your definition of hard work?
My definition of hard work is everything that I've done when I've least wanted to do it. That's
Okay.
my hard work.
Nice. What about you, Miss Nona?
Hard work for me is literally like when obstacles come into your way, you overcome it. And like you put your head down and you're no distractions, you know? Good days, bad days, you're still putting in the work. That's hard work for me.
What hard work is to me, hard work is what you do to show the universe you are worth everything you're asking for.
Damn.
That's my definition of hard work.
Yeah.
If you don't work, then you're not going to get what you want. My mom taught me that at a very young age. Everything I asked of her, I had to
show
earn
the
it.
work. Yeah.
I had to earn it.
I love that.
You want a PlayStation? Okay. Well, you better give me good grades.
Yeah.
You want a new game? Good grades. You want shoes? Give me good grades.
Yeah.
And I asked her, well, Mom, like, why do I always have to do this to get it? She was like, because the world's not going to give you anything for free. Why should I? And if I do that, I'm a bad mother. And that took me back like, oh.
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mom. Yeah, you're right. So, yeah. That's why I believe in hard work more than affirmation. Because your hard work is the affirmation.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was a little bit like what we talked about with our confidence episode, right? Like we said, in order to be confident, you have to give yourself things to be confident about.
Yeah.
Like,
you have to put in the work.
Yeah, because you'll be confident if you know you've put in the hard work, right? So it's like you have everything to be confident about. There's no question of who you are and what you deserve when you know that you've put the stepping stones in.
You know what you're offering.
Yeah.
In some sense.
Exactly.
I know what I'm capable of, right? Like
exactly. How nervous are you when you go to a new job, you get a job interview, but you get nothing on your resume?
Ooh.
Super nervous, but imagine it's loaded.
And you're like, yep, this is me.
You're lucky to have me in this room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Also, tell me, why should we have you in our company? Well, I'm gonna do you one better, sir. Why should I be in your company?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Did you see my resume?
Did you see my resume? Like, there was this time. That was during the pandemic. I was looking for another job, right? Like, I was just looking for stuff, and I sent my resume to like another gym, all right, to be like a membership advisor. That gym looked at my resume 3 times, but they never got back to me.
How did you know this?
Because
there's a view counter?
Yeah, it was
okay.
like the view counter was telling me, oh, somebody in that gym is looking at your resume. Oh, somebody's looking at your resume. Uh-huh. They've looked at it 4 times. They never contacted me.
Why?
What did that do to you?
You know what I told me?
What?
I don't know. I was telling my wife, I don't know if that's it, but I just may be overqualified for that position.
But that's possible.
And that's very possible.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah, because they would rather pay less to
Yeah.
somebody else. So it happens a lot.
Yeah. They are afraid to lose their jobs. Like, you know what, this girl is way too good. Like, no.
Yeah.
We can have him. And you know what? All right, that's okay.
Yeah, and if anything, it's like, damn, you can go apply for even a better job.
Exactly.
That was affirmation that you can go higher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly. That is so... I love that viewpoint. I love that.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes when people, like, you know, that happens to them, they're like, damn, like, what did I do? But it's like, damn, like, what did they do? You know? Like, I'm good for this. I know what I'm offering, you know?
Yeah. And I believe also, like... and at the end of the day, you are a product of your environment, all right? So that's why, to me, the people you're around is very important. You know,
exactly.
A lot of times people talk bad about themselves, not because they don't think better, but because that's what they are used to. You know, how many people do you know that their whole life they've been talked down to?
100%, yeah.
Right, and now like their inner voice is talking bad to them. But that inner voice doesn't come from them. It comes from the people that they've heard their whole life. And being able to undo that takes a lot of work, you know?
It does, yeah. Once the damage is done, it's effort to, like, rewind all of that.
Hard work.
Yeah, it is hard work.
Yeah.
Basically, you are who you surround yourself with.
Really, though.
You are who
I believe that as
choose your
well.
friends wisely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know... So there's this rhetoric that I hear a lot.
Show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. Is that what you're going to say?
This one I like a lot, actually. But there's this one that people say a lot. Is like, if somebody in your life doesn't bring anything to you, they shouldn't be in it. You know? Like, if they have no value to your life, if they don't bring anything, they shouldn't be in your life. What's you guys' stand on that?
I like that because, like, again, it's not like value could be many things. Like, value could be positivity.
Yeah.
I personally do not want to surround myself with someone who always brings me negativity, who always gossips, who always does that. Because at the end of the day, that's going to affect me in a negative way. And that's going to bring me down as a person. I think, like, I 100% am for that.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I feel like everyone in your life should bring something. And then you can also bring to them. Yeah. You know?
What about you?
I think it's a little tricky because there's another rhetoric. There's this a line that I love this one so much. It says there is no neutral exchanges in life. You're either giving or you're taking, right? So when I hear that, and I can't imagine one situation where someone would bring no value. I can't imagine that because I would feel like there is something gained or lost from a relationship. So yes, if I'm constantly losing in a relationship over and over again, like, there's pain being brought, there's mistreatment, I think that person should be removed from my life. But value is so many things. Like, even if we have a good conversation, I receive nothing from you. Like, no gifts, no even quality time, maybe, because I value maybe words over quality time. And we just have good conversations where we like level up a little bit. Like, if you challenge my thoughts, you ask me the right questions, I ask you the right questions, that's enough value for me, you know? So I think it's a gray area for me because it's like, it's hard to imagine where I would have a no value relationship with someone.
I get that.
What is your take on it?
Yeah.
Well, me, I think very differently about this.
Let me hear.
I don't believe that everyone in your life should bring something. I believe that sometimes you're the one bringing something to their lives. For example, the person that's negative, that person is trying to bring that negativity to your life, right? But now, you, instead of like grabbing it, you not only you parry it, but now
give them positivity.
You give them positivity.
Yeah. So you're like the teacher.
In a sense.
You're savior in some sense.
That's a big word.
Not savior, but you know, like helper.
Helper. Helper. So there was this one time. My brothers and I were all living in a house in Northridge, and there was there was 7 of us, 5-bedroom house, right? Parties every weekend.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. And but in that time, I was waking up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym, or I was waking up at 4 to go to set, to go to work. I was going to church. I was going to work. I was doing everything while everybody was partying and doing their stuff. Now, my brother had a friend that was, And every time he was around, he would always give me a drink. Hey, what's up, Kev? He would give me, and I would take it at time, and sometimes I wouldn't. And for a little while, I stopped seeing him. One day, he comes to me, and first of all, he cut his hair. He dressed like all nice, and I'm like, "Where'd you come from?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yo, Kev, I just want to let you know, man. Thank you." For what? Like I've seen you go to the gym early in the morning. I've seen you go to work. I've seen you grinding every day, and doing that. One of the people I respect the most, and everybody in the house respects you the most. So because of that, not only I stopped drinking, I stopped partying. I got back to church. I ended up getting a job in a law firm, and like now, like I got my life together, and that's because I've watched you work.
Damn, that gave me chills a little bit. Yeah. And you had no idea the value you had on it.
Imagine how I felt. I was just going through the motions.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was doing it. And that's when I realized your life isn't really yours because you don't know who's watching.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, the impact is so, like, it's greater than your eyes.
Yeah.
Your perspective. Like, you don't see all of it. And imagine how many people didn't say thank you to you.
Exactly.
Who have felt the exact same way about you.
Remember our first conversation, miss? Mm-hmm. When I was telling you, you have 990,000 people watching how to give themselves self-love.
True.
So, like, just you have that many people watching what you do. They're looking at you to save themselves a lot of times. And sometimes that's somebody that's right next to you. Now, yeah, that person can be negative and all that, but that's just because that's the chapter in their lives, right?
Yeah.
Me, I look at my life as sagas or like seasons, right? I'm at season 5 right now, but season 3 was dark, but it doesn't mean that's the whole show, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's why I look at it. Sometimes the people that are negatives are just their chapter in their lives, and sometimes you see in shows. A negative chapter can last 2 seasons. Have you seen a show where it's the same villain for 3 seasons?
Yeah.
They still didn't get him, right? Until the realization at the end in season 4 is something totally different.
Yeah.
So I realized that, you know what? It's not because somebody is negative that I should keep them out of my lives. Because they are negative, they need me in their lives. Why? Because that's balance. If everything around you is negative, where do you take your positive from?
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
Please.
I agree with that. I love everything that you said, and I also like would benefit from a relationship, or I can see the positive in a relationship where someone needs me and I'm there. Where do you draw the line? Do you draw the line ever? Let's say I wouldn't even mind. Like I just want to. We don't have to give me a definitive answer with time, but I just want to speak with time, just for analogy sakes. Like I wouldn't even mind if I know that somebody, I could be a helping hand, right? Or I could be that balance to someone, the positive side of their life for 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years. Where do you think you would reach a point where would you ever retract from that relationship?
Of course.
Yeah. What's your boundary with that? Let's say it's you've been their balance for so long. When do you take it away or reserve your space?
Well, it's when the time I start to retract myself is when the situation is affecting me emotionally. Mm-hmm. Right? When I become affected emotionally, that's when I have to retract myself. Why? Because I'm about to be imbalanced. And if I am imbalanced, I have no help to you.
Yeah, you don't even benefit them anymore.
I don't even benefit you anymore. Mm-hmm. So now I have to step back, be on my corner a little bit, but I will be back. I will get back to you.
Yeah, the pause.
It's the pause. Yeah. You need the pause, right? You need it. And when I have those moments, like there's times where, you know what, I'm a bit like right now, I'm about to be emotionally unstable, right? Even you saying that you're emotionally unstable shows how stable you are in a sense.
Oh yes, I agree with what you're reflective enough to be like, oh, I have to step back.
I have to step back. But now by being able to step back, you're doing both of you guys a favor. Why? Because that person that was taking the whole time now is used to you giving, right? But now the moment you retract, you're not giving anymore, it will put them in a position where they have to question themselves. Right? And now the person that doesn't question themselves, then you know what? I guess we have to go separate ways.
Right.
But the moment you realize your fault, the moment you grow and you see what you did, we can talk. I close my door to no one.
Me too.
I close my door to no one. Like, I've had problems with people, very few people, and we separated, but it doesn't mean that like I will never speak to you again.
Yeah.
No, because I believe that everyone has the ability to change. Actually, that's why human beings are above animals in a certain sense. Why? Because
our consciousness
and our ability to adapt.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You put a lion in Antarctica, the lion dies within 3 days.
Yeah, but we could live.
We'll start eating like, frozen salmon, and next thing you know, your hair will start covering your back.
Just to warm you.
Just to, like your body will adapt. So now, even in that emotionally, we could still adapt.
Right.
Right. So I believe that I draw the line when I see that the situation is about to affect me in an emotional level. Because once I become emotional, I'm not right.
You're not giving anymore.
I'm not giving anymore. I will start taking, but yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
I respect that answer. Yeah, I was curious, and it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense because you seem like a big helper. Do you have any siblings, like younger siblings?
Yes. So there's 9 of us, brothers and sisters.
Oh, right. You said you lived in a 5-bedroom house.
Well, that was with my cousins.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm sorry. That was with my brothers. That was when we were here in Northridge. Now, I live with my cousins back in Europe. But my brothers and I, there's 9 of us. And
just 9 brothers, no sisters?
2 sisters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
2 sisters, and we are all in great terms, all of us. And I've gotten to learn a lot from my brothers alone. Like my youngest brother are like 11.
Yeah.
But even with them, whenever I have a chance, I talk to them and I tell them, look, this is how we do things. The one thing that so there was a kid that was working with me, and he's going to college right now, not university actually, in Santa Barbara. He asked me, Kev, I'm about to go out there, man. Do you have any words of wisdom for me? And I'm like, you know what? Actually, I do. And I gave him this simple advice. Every day, your goal is 500 push-ups, 1,000 sit-ups, 200 squats, and if you can, 100 pull-ups.
Oh, wait a second. But however he wants to.
However he wants to. He just has to get that done. Because now you go into a place where the wind blows hard. And if you're not planted like a tree, you will go. Everybody will be able to sway you their way. But you have to
have a foundation.
Have a foundation. You have to have a certain amount of discipline for you to be able to withstand the storm.
Wow.
If you're able to do that every day, right? Not only you will become better as a person, but you start influencing the ones around you.
Yeah.
So that's it. It's simple.
Super simple, but you gave him like a rock.
Yeah.
In a place that he was not familiar with.
Not at all. He's going to a place where it's like he doesn't know anybody.
Yeah.
And a lot of distractions as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So you had to give him those 500.
That's it. No matter what
Stay
you do
focused.
today, stay focused. Not a day goes by without you trying to actually accomplish these things.
Yeah. You have a goal every
day. You may not get to 500 today, and it's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Right? But you get to 230. Right? I remember my first 20 push-ups, actually 15. Hard. They were painful. But that same week, I went to 30 in a row.
Yeah. Progress is fast.
That's it.
So when you're focused and consistent.
Yep.
You just have to want it. Right? And I know you want to be popular, you want to be good in college, you want to have all that. This will do it for you.
Yeah. I love that.
I feel like the youth nowadays have a lot of influencers, a lot of this, but they don't have a lot of like, how you call that, father figures or like role models.
Role models is
a role model, and it doesn't have to be someone famous, right?
Just in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I kind of want to be that to a kid. I want to be the kid that, you know what, hey kid, you're not alone. I got you. How do I do this? Do that, and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
You know, that's I really want, like, that's what I want to give.
You don't have any kids, I'm assuming, but you plan
Not yet.
to.
Oh, I do.
Of course, yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I can't wait to be a father.
Yeah,
Really.
I think that'd be perfect for you. The ultimate helper. The
Man.
ultimate. Yeah, just full circle.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, children are very important.
Yes.
You know,
I say that as well.
You have to feed them hope, because hope turns into optimism. Optimism turns into a bright future. If you strip the kid from hope, then his future is grim, and he's going to be part of the problem in the future.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's really why. Like, every time, like I used to tell myself, make sure every day, make sure that the 8-year-old Kevin, if somebody was to come to the future and show my 8-year-old self, yo, Kev, this is what you're going to look like in the future, how would that 8-year-old react?
Yeah. You're
Right?
making him proud. You're trying to make him proud.
It's the whole goal, is to make the 8-year-old me proud. You know, somebody, like, if he sees me, he'll be like, oh, that's me.
It's like from the video games.
Yeah. And that's my goal, you know? And yeah, it's helped me a lot so far, I can say.
I love that.
Yeah, I do like that perspective, because there's also like there's like a trend on TikTok, right? So the same way that you're saying that you exist mainly to make younger you happy, there was this perspective that's like the same thing. It was like a trend on TikTok and other platforms, but it was like, when you are being mean to yourself, you are being mean to the younger you. For example, is people who restrict themselves from eating their favorite foods, or will, like, I mean, like where it's to a point where it's unhealthy, right? Like, you just restricting yourself from a proper diet because you want to reach a certain goal. It was like, remember that you're keeping that food away from her. Like, and it's like a little picture of someone when they were 8 or 7. I think that perspective, the way that you spoke about it, the way that this trend speaks about it, is like mind-blowing. Like, if you view, because you would never mistreat an 8-year-old child, right? Especially if, like, yourself, like, imagine, like, if you had the opportunity to nurture and love your younger you, right? But that's still you. Just because you're grown up, that doesn't change anything.
Doesn't
you know?
change anything. Yeah.
You can still make yourself proud. You can still take care of yourself.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like every one of us is still young. Like, we still have, let's say you can be 37, right? But still have the mindset, or like the I'll say the spiritual base of when you were 17.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
I remember this conversation when we had it.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I had that conversation with you. Me, I feel like I'm still 17.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who are watching YouTube right now, like, this man literally looks so young. so young.
Yeah. Super youthful.
Super
Thank
youthful.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you feel 17, but you like have like, your mind, like, is the direct opposite. Your spirit might be young, but it's almost like you're, like, what's the word, dichotomy?
Wisdom.
Yeah, like you're like, you've lived multiple lives. Like, imagine, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're definitely not 17 in spirit, but the youth is soul.
Your soul is
Yeah.
young.
And man, I think it's how you call that? It's because I had a great childhood. I can say, like, I believe that a great childhood can save a lot of people.
Absolutely. I think it's what leads to people's behaviors. That's why it's like, I can see why you love the idea of being a parent, because you literally, as raising a child and being a part of their childhood, you set the tone for the rest of their lives. That's impact that we can't even measure.
No, we can.
Yeah.
We can. I believe that the first 8 years of your life are the most important.
Mm-hmm.
The first 8 years. After, I mean, yeah, every year is important, but the first 8 are like crucial.
Yeah.
They're crucial. However you treat your kid, that's how he's gonna believe the world is.
100%. 100%.
You know,
Yeah.
and I like, and me, my first 8 years were like, it was great. You know,
Yeah, that's beautiful.
it was awesome.
I also believe that like in order to have like a youthful soul is optimism, because every single individual that I have come across, and they look like they're in their early 20s, but they're like in reality like 40, like 30, and I'm just like, get out. And they've always been optimistic. I've never ran into someone who's negative.
Yeah, it's you have to believe.
Yeah.
You know, you have to believe in your own dream. Like, what is it that you have to what is it that you want to accomplish, and that what is it that you want to accomplish has to make you happy. You have to, like I said, visualization. You have to visualize what you want, and that vision makes you smile. And the moment you smile, you're gonna want to share that smile with everybody else.
Yeah.
And like, youth is really like your energy. You know, like the way, like everything around, you know, like the way you
feel.
the way you feel,
Yeah.
and everyone feels good around you. Like, I was working in a location, like I was in Woodland Hills, but working 2 hours away from Woodland Hills every day, like taking the bus and all that every 2 hours. Now people will ask me like, well, like, damn, like, doesn't that like that must be rough? And I'm like, honestly, it's really not, man. You telling me that for 2 hours, all right? So 2 hours there, 2 hours back, meaning 4 hours. For 4 hours, I get to read whatever I want to read. I get to listen to the music I want to listen to. I get to feed my mind what I want to feed it. I'm okay.
Damn.
I'm really okay, right? Because you can have the worst job ever, right? But your attitude is what's going to set the tone. Is what's going to either make it okay or make it even worse. I've seen guys that like take out the trash for a living and all that, but they singing and doing all of that. They look like they're having the best job ever, but it's all a matter of your attitude.
Wow.
You know? How do you treat yourself? What kind of energy? What do you feed your soul with?
Right.
You know? Oh, that's a whole other topic, but yeah.
Damn.
No, I love the perspective of like commuting.
Yeah.
Because like, especially because we live in LA, like I feel like 99 out of 100 times people will complain about like my drive to work is 3 hours, my drive to work is 1.5 hours. But it's so true. Like I have tried to find like sometimes especially if I'm in like listening to music that I love, like I'll vibe with traffic, like same reason, right? But I feel like it's hard to not just be like, oh my god, this is so annoying, right? But you're so right. How many times do you get 2 hours of just doing something, like literally you got nothing else to worry about, really, you know, because we sort of autopilot when we drive. It's not like a conscious move, like you know exactly what you're doing. So it's like you get to read, you get to, let's say if you're on a bus, you get to read, you get to listen to music. Like that is such a good perspective. You know, and it's crazy that I never viewed it that way, because like silence, if I'm 2 hours in my home, I'm not complaining. Right. So what makes it any different than in a car?
Exactly.
And you're gonna say something.
No.
I started teaching my wife something, and she started applying it. On the days it's hard to get the days to get it started, make a playlist of your most hyped songs. Just stay hype. You tired right now, but you gonna listen to the hypest song you have. I promise you, people, whenever it's hard for you to get your day started, make a playlist of your hypest songs. I promise you, it will improve the mood by a minimum of 25%.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know you're big on that as well. You always talk about music.
I wake up in the morning and I'm blasting an uplifting song. I don't listen to sad music. No. Yeah, I have days where I do, but like it's very rare. In the mornings, it's so important to start your mornings like in positive.
That's it.
Something upbeat, happy, good lyrics. Done.
Yeah. Me actually, a lot of times I listen to music with no lyrics.
Oh, just like jazz or something?
Just like jazz or something. Yeah. And the only reason why I listen to most of the music I listen to is actually without lyrics. And the only reason why I listen to that is because lyrics tend to tell your mind where it's supposed to go. Why, when you're listening without the lyrics, you let your mind wander.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
me too.
let your mind wander. Like and you'll see really what's going on in your head. Because no one's telling you anything, right? Music has the power to touch your soul. Why? Vibrations.
Right.
We know that.
Yes.
Now, you use that vibration to let your mind, your spirit wander. You'd be surprised where you land.
So basically, you're kind of guiding it in some sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You exactly.
Or observing.
Yeah.
You're observing, you're
it,
guiding it. You know, whatever your mind feels like doing that day.
Yeah.
Right? You just let it be on autopilot.
That is meditation.
That's my meditation.
That is meditation, yeah. So
like if you look at the amount of playlists I have in my phone, you would be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And each playlist represents a different mood of mine.
Wait, we have to share these with each other. I would love the playlist. The happy
Same.
one. I'll take the happy one.
Okay. Yeah. My thing is I don't really listen to sad songs like that. I don't really but I would listen to like slow music.
For the sad days.
For the sad days when I'm like, I listen to sad music. And actually the sad music does not make me sad. It actually allows myself to calm down, so I become level-headed enough to actually come up with solutions.
Interesting, because when you do listen to sad, because I'm guilty, I love sad music.
Of course, my wife does too.
Yeah. So, but it's interesting because you're right. When you listen to sad lyrical music, your sadness heightens.
Exactly.
It doesn't calm you down. It's more just like, yeah, I am this sad. Yes, I do feel the things that the lyric is saying. Versus the music you're saying is slow enough for you to just like assess and like conquer your sadness rather than like engulf in the sadness.
Exactly.
Like
Staying in the moment. Right there. You just there and you're just, okay.
Yeah.
So this is what happened. That's when I have those conversations with myself. You know? And it's always good to have a nice little background music while you're having the scene with yourself.
Yeah, it's like a little movie.
Yeah, it's like a little movie. Yeah. Like there was this one scene in and I don't know if you guys are familiar with The Boys.
I'm not.
Okay, so there's this character Homelander, right? Homelander is the superhero that's like the people's champion.
Okay.
Right, but he has a twisted side to him, and there's this moment where his image of himself was shattered. So he sat in front of a mirror. And he had a conversation with himself. So you see him like talking while his reflection was talking smack to him. But you would have they will both have that conversation, and that's something that unfortunately we all do. We do talk smack to ourselves. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like I've been guilty of it. Sometimes I can't say I talk smack to myself. I tell myself the raw, honest, uncomfortable truth. Look, man. You could have done this. You didn't. What does that make you? Well, I'm definitely not this because you're not this. Okay. Well, you know what? Tomorrow you have that chance to prove it.
Yeah.
So are you gonna do the same thing, or what's gonna happen? I'm gonna do better tomorrow. Really? Should I set up an alarm for that, or should I put that in the calendar? Like, what are we gonna do, Kevin? What is it that you're gonna do tomorrow to ensure that you're gonna do what you have to do? Tell me, what are you gonna do? And those are the conversations that I have. Well, you know what? I guess I have to wake up earlier. Okay, would that change something? So now you're gonna wake up early. Okay, does that mean that you're gonna go to sleep early? Because if you don't go to sleep early to wake up early, you're only gonna hurt yourself. And if you hurt yourself, you're not gonna accomplish your goal, right?
Right.
So, what are we doing here, Kev? What are we doing?
Yeah.
And that conversation I have it with my calm little music, you know. But at least I do not have lyrics to sway me in the direction I should not be in. But that's just me.
I love that actually, because that makes it. I believe that even if you're not listening to the lyrics, subconsciously your mind's eating it up. You know.
Absolutely.
So I think like at the end of the day, it's like influences all around us. So be careful what you let influence you, you know?
Yeah.
Music, especially music, it's like you get so emotional listening to it. Obviously, it does influence you. So I'm definitely going to be taking your advice and start listening to songs that don't have lyrics in them, especially in the morning.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I'm not going to lie, me too. I'm just going to blast, like, not blast, but like on a little speaker, just loud, so it surrounds me, like while I'm waking up.
Yeah.
While I'm making my bed, all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is the best thing. It really is the best thing. Like, and you end up being at a point where you will wake up with a random song from that playlist. Every day when I go to sleep, I wake up with a difference. One random song from my playlist is playing in the morning in my head. So I wake up, that's the first thing I'm going to play. Mm-hmm. Just because my mind's been asking me to play that song for a good 8 hours while I was asleep. All right, let's play it now. And it's a great way to start the day.
Yeah. I'm going to need those recommendations because I do not listen to jazz music. So I don't know any quality, good recommendations.
Honestly, it doesn't even have to be jazz. There's also deep house. Deep house was a little more rhythmic, but it still has a cool tone. You guys have Apple Music? Okay,
I have Spotify. Yeah.
Spotify. Okay.
Same thing.
Yeah. I will give you guys some of the music that I listen to in the morning. I don't know if you'll like it, but
we'd love it.
I like all kinds of music.
Yeah, me too.
Even country?
Yes, even country.
Okay.
The only one I will be honest that I do not like is heavy metal.
Okay.
But everything else, if I listen to it and it pleases my ears, I like it across the spectrum.
Yeah. I think heavy metal is good when you are ready to just crush everything.
Yeah. Like a workout.
Workout. Yeah. Yeah. Like when I was doing pro wrestling,
seems so fitting.
I was listening to so much heavy metal.
Yeah, well, you're fighting.
It's angry.
Yeah.
You're like,
fighting.
Gets you like riled up.
Angry, just riled up.
Yeah.
Ready.
Yeah.
Like you just here.
Like game time.
It's game time. Like let's go. And actually listening to heavy metal while overcoming my fear was a great combination. Like, it was a great thing.
You felt like a movie
superhero. Scene,
yeah.
But really, like the concept of pro wrestling is really that. For 15 minutes, you are the person you always knew
you could be.
Yeah. And everyone loves you for it. You know?
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. And I loved every second of it. Yeah.
Well, I love this.
Yeah.
You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think this is a perfect note.
I was gonna say, do you have anything that you want to share with? I don't know, like what your situation is online, but usually if we have guests, like if they have something that they want to share, like if they sell something online, I don't know. Like one of the girls we had on here was like selling coaching. So I don't know if there's something that you want to plug. You can go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell them what you have if you want them to tune in somewhere.
Yeah. So I'm working on a few things right now. So nothing is It's still in the works right now, so I do not have anything yet to announce. However, I'm gonna be in a movie called The Order. Pretty soon. The Order, yeah. I'm playing a bad guy, Caden. And you can also find me on the Beachbody platform, where I actually do teach in French. And and find me on Instagram, my first and last name, Kevin Lukata.
How do you spell Lukata?
Lukata.
Okay,
perfect.
Yeah, we're gonna be putting his socials in the links in the description
and
for
the movie name as well.
Yeah, we'll write all of that down in the description if you guys ever want to go and watch when it comes out. Is there any ETA for the movie? Like when is it?
So we are. Let me see. Yeah, right now we don't have an ETA yet.
Yeah, I know it takes a while.
It takes a minute. We changed a few dates, but. Stay tuned, my friends.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Well, it was so lovely meeting you. And honestly, like, I love these conversations. And I really mean that. Thank you for coming by, Kevin.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you for, putting time aside to come over here and talking to us.
The pleasure was all mine, ladies. Really, it's an honor to be here with the Muscle Mommmies.
It's an honor to have you.
Yeah, feeling is mutual.
Yes, yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in. We love you, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.